Hello, welcome again to another edition of Jonathan Vance. Today, we're going to talk about the elites and how they use legal systems, people, influence, and power to break someone's will, as well how it ties into political movements on the left and the right, and how to look out for these things when you get into these movements. But first thing we have to do, and this is a religious aspect to it, is I would like to read the Bible. And let's see here. It was a really good verse I was just reading today in Psalm. And I thought that it's probably, a lot of things that you guys are going through with these times, feeling alienated from mainstream society. But to do not fret, there is a will, there is a way. So I'll read this, and I'll read Psalm 119, uh, semicolon 153. Look upon my suffering and deliver me, for I have not forgotten your law. Defend my cause and redeem me. Preserve my life according to your promise. Salvation is far from the wicked, for they do not seek out your decrees. Your compassion is great. O Lord, preserve my life according to your laws. Many are the foes who persecute me, but I have not turned from your statutes. I look on the faithless with loathing, for they do not obey your word. See how I love your precepts. Preserve my life, O Lord, according to your love. All your words are true. All your righteous laws are eternal. So I would like to see that. Now, maybe what I'll get into is I'll get into I'll do some little screen sharing, and then maybe we'll go over some concepts. Now there is a story out of Britney Spears, and I kind of like catch the corner of my eye, and there was a legal term that was kind of interesting. It was, I believe, it was conserve. I don't know. I haven't heard of that concept before. It was conservator. Conservator, is that what I'm saying? Conservator. So basically, Britney Spears has been under this conservator order that was deemed legal by the judge, and she's been under this order since she was in her late 20s, and now I believe she is 40, and so basically she can't make any decisions when it comes to her family life, her money and how she spends, the work, her relationships, is basically controlled by her father, from what I understand. But it's a very interesting concept, legal concept, and maybe we'll go on here. We'll explore that a little bit. But First thing, I would love to go and show you the video of Lauren Southern did, which is very interesting, and it was just kind of like, yeah, like she kind of touches on some really good things. I know it's like an easy topic. I know, like, oh, that's so kosher, but I think it's really something that we really need to, and I think what people in our sphere, and especially in our Canadian nationalist sphere, have been kind of going through for a little bit when it comes to dealing with the legal system. And I think this would definitely apply to us and apply to anybody else that might, you know, think about things. Think about this. Have this information in the background when you're studying legal concepts or you're trying to write a legal paper or something like that. Trying to make your case. Have this in the this helps. You know what I mean? So what I'll do here is I'll screen share here. Alrighty, so I'm just give me 2 seconds here. Let's see. Or Southern. Okay, so just going to do a little bit of screen sharing. Da 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 da. Do 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 do. Okay, so now I'm going to change the settings, and I'm going to let it run a little bit, and then I'll comment after. So you won't hear from me for a little bit. I'm just going to play a Lauren Southern video. I don't believe I'm going to get any copyright strikes or anything like that. So just give me, see here. Just going to make sure here.
I love her so much, and I feel if you're an adult, you should be able to live your life and not be controlled. And I think maybe that stems from me being controlled so much, so I can understand how that would feel.
I lived in Hollywood during that time, and I've made it my life's mission to tell all of you out there what so many of you really know deep down, that fame and Hollywood and the media machine are rotten to the core.
If you're unaware, Britney Spears has found herself back in the news with a fascinating court statement made public a few days ago. Last time I remember even thinking about Britney Spears was when someone showed me a bizarre Instagram video of her just spinning in circles, and thinking to myself, it really looks like this woman has lost the plot, as many people had concluded about her, whether it be from her 2008 breakdown or otherwise. And given this kind of perception of Britney as crazy, you just never really heard much publicly about the fact that her father was controlling her funds and life under a conservatorship. Or if it was discussed publicly, it was just kind of, well, guess that's the thing to do with a crazy woman.
I was on tour in 2018. I was forced to do. My management said if I don't do this tour, I will have to find an attorney, and by contract, my own management could sue me if I didn't follow through with the tour. He handed me a sheet of paper as I got off the stage in Vegas and said I had to sign it. It was very threatening and scary, and with the conservatorship, I couldn't even get my own attorney. So out of fear, I went ahead and I did the tour. When I came off that tour, a new show in Las Vegas was supposed to take place. I started rehearsing early, but it was hard because I'd been doing Vegas for 4 years and I needed a break in between. But no, I was told this is the timeline and this is how it's going to go.
So what came as such a shock to everyone with Britney's court statement was just how lucid and articulate she was. They were not the words of a mad woman. They were the words of a terrified and traumatized, perfectly sane woman, talking about how the Hollywood machine had destroyed her, gaslit her, and worked with the media to establish her insanity so she could be used as a product by her father and producers to keep making money on tours she didn't want to go on, taking drugs she didn't want to take, like lithium, and living a life she had no interest in. They even forced the poor woman to have an IUD in so she couldn't have children. There are babies being born every minute in the state of California to literal ICE addicts who are legally allowed to have children, but Britney can't because her dad is rich and they've decided she's an asset to make money off of.
And she revealed what many in the Free Britney movement have long suspected, that her public claims of being happy, like this video she posted in April, were all a lie.
I'm totally fine. I'm extremely happy. I have a beautiful home, beautiful children.
Now I'm telling the truth, okay? She told the judge, I'm not happy. I'm so angry, it's insane. And I'm depressed. I cry every day. I just want my life back.
With this new audio clip, thankfully, a whole new discussion about abuse in the entertainment industry has begun. And more importantly, one of how this was even allowed to happen in the first place. How do we have this established class of elites able to manipulate the laws to their whims to this degree? And that is actually what this story is about. It's not about famous people. It's not some fun drama to watch in the gossip rags. People may fob off this entire incident as just, well, you know, Britney Spears is rich anyways. She can't have been that sad if her dad took a bit of money and a bit of management. But if you're seeing it that way, you are tragically missing the point.
I wish I could stay with you on the phone forever, because when I get off the phone with you, all of a sudden, I hear all these no's. No, no, no. And then all of a sudden I feel ganged up on, and I feel bullied, and I feel left out and alone. And I'm tired of feeling alone.
We have celebrities right now who are so close to the elites, to their inner circles, their family members, financial partners, friends, trying desperately to warn us about their corruption and sickness. Not only that, but the dark side of these beautiful material facades, sacrificing their careers, reputations, and lives to try to wake us up out of this fever dream in which we adore Hollywood.
We spent a lot of time analyzing the little breadcrumbs you leave us, the clues.
Thank you. 1978. There you are saying about Jimmy Savile, he was into all kinds of seediness that we all knew about. We weren't allowed to talk about it. I know some rumors.
My name is Evan Rachel Wood, and I'm an artist, but I'm also a domestic violence and sexual assault survivor. I'm the single mother of a young boy.
Harvey Weinstein invites you to a private party and Four Seasons stuff.
And we are too busy getting lost in the weeds of right versus left political battles and cults of personality to focus on the real enemy here.
I'm not going after men in this situation. That's just Hollywood. I'm going after the cult.
I've even noticed this in myself. For example, when all the Me Too stuff came out, there are very legitimate criticisms of that movement going too far and false accusations that occurred. But in that whole mess of making exposure of abuse about feminist politics and the bandwagon of everyone wanting their own headline, I know there would be some very genuine voices trying to warn us about legitimate things that happened that were left forgotten again.
Is that him?
Mm-hmm.
That's him,
Mm-hmm.
the man who abused you. Did you give his name to the LAPD?
Yes.
And if I'm being honest, I truly think this may have been deliberate confusion. Throw in bad apples so we can't discern who's telling the truth and get lost in the arguments over that. One of the key ways the Hungarian Communist Party took over complete power in the country was by using something called salami tactics, where they carefully and deliberately eliminate their opposition slice by slice. So, for example, if we're talking about conservatives, the attacking party and their influencers will make it known it's fine to be a conservative, but you just can't be conservative and also support, I don't know, Mormons. We'll just pick that as an example. And because Mormons would be such a small group in their party, such a small faction, and their enemies would be going after them so hard consistently, everyone would just decide, well, it's just easier to disassociate with and kick out the Mormons than to defend them. That'll just make our elections easier. The Mormons would then be ousted and turned against the conservatives. Then Next, the attacking group would pick another faction and another faction and another and slowly slice them away until there's no conservative party left. Before they know it, they're split into so many separate factions that are infighting, they are incapable of defending against a larger force. And in my opinion, that is what is happening here. Instead of saying, wow, Rose McGowan was incredibly brave to speak up against Weinstein and the evils of Hollywood, we bicker over whether the way she stood up was good enough. Was it the proper kind of feminism? Was it too feminist? Funny enough, I don't think Rose McGowan even considers herself a feminist at all, at least as of late. She seems pretty politically neutral these days. None of that should matter, though. What should matter is that we root out the evil in Hollywood, both what they are presenting publicly to numb our minds and polluting privately, and get some of these people put in jail. The amount of boys and girls from that world with endless trauma and assault stories is just sick. Even those who haven't been abused in a sexual manner, they've been completely psychologically destroyed. If you just look at some of the ways that these kids and adults act on stage. Miley Cyrus, Demi Lovato, Britney Spears, Paris Hilton. Sometimes they get attacked, especially by people that are more right-leaning, as promoting degenerate culture. And that's why they're having these mental breakdowns, and they deserve it anyways. It's just it's a political thing. It's because they're crazy leftist degenerates. I don't think that's the case. I think we need to start thinking of these people as victims as well, deprived of a proper childhood, deprived of love, and raised by abusers. If you think about it, if everyone around you just sees you as an object for them to make money from, they're liquoring you up, giving you lithium, throwing outfits at you to wear, and micromanaging your entire existence, and threatening you if you don't listen and comply. Is this propaganda really even coming from these celebrities, or is this like the Manchurian Candidate? Everyone around them, even some of the people they would love and get along with and consider friends, makeup artists, assistants, security, their presence is entirely predicated on the fact that they're getting paid because said celebrity is getting views and sales.
But I'm saying that why I got involved in the issue of
20-year-old women to be asked to lick sledgehammers in videos for songs that have no lyrical reference to any such thing.
Okay, hang on here. So I think we get it. It just goes into we gotta feel sorry for these people, which is fine. Yes, that's fine. But it just goes on and the same thing. But you kind of guys get the point. Hey, Aaron Ahmed, how are you? I saw one of your videos. You did a video review. I forget what the video was, but it was very fascinating. It was very cool. I am just doing a stream right now. I'm looking up conservatorship. Hang on here. So I'm gonna just look that up, and then I'll screen share it with you guys. Conservatorship. Are you familiar, Aaron, with the term conservatorship? Or conservator, not conservatorship. Conservator still has a okay. I'm just going to see here. We'll do this again. Whoops. There you go. What is going on with my computer? Okay. I don't know if this is the best article. So she's not in total control of her finances and or other important decisions in life. Okay, let's just see if this goes anywhere. The term conservator of the person and guardian mean the same thing. where an individual or entity is appointed by a court of law to serve as a legal guardian for an adult who lacks the capacity to make certain decisions. GSF serves as a court-appointed conservator of the person, CA, and guardian elsewhere in various regions across the United States. Is this an American thing? I haven't heard this like concept before. It's very interesting. Our conservatorship of the person and the guardianship program is the most comprehensive person-centered service we offer. When appointed in this capacity, we oversee our clients' caregivers, medical providers, and financial providers to ensure that those services are being provided according to the ideals of GSF Care. GSF Care, that's more rabbit holes to go under. We defend our clients against exploitation and advocate for them when their voice is not appropriately valued or heard. It's kind of ironic. Okay. In this program, our staff will frequently visit the client in his or her home or other program environment in both a planned and unannounced manner to monitor health and well-being and make certain our client receives the highest quality of life possible. Wow, that's just I don't even know how to begin. So it's not necessarily it's like a person who is mentally ill per se and they have a guardian. It's a it looks like it's like a step up. It's like it's kind of just a power grab for somebody to use to exploit. It doesn't seem like it's actually like highest quality of life to who, right? Like to who is this person? Like pretty much the way I read this, like anybody could fall under this. You don't really need to have a specific mental illness. It's just like somebody can say, "Oh, you're being exploited." So this isn't. I don't know if you guys joined late, but this is in regards to Britney Spears, and she's going to court right now. She's advocating for her to lift this conservatorship off so that she can make her own life decisions and so on the video she was making statements that her life was great and it's wonderful and but this was basically under the guise of this program, which is very interesting. Huh. Okay. Oh, okay, no, then this goes into I don't know. Does this have to do anything with it? A revocable living trust. So I'm just reading this to see if. So this has something to do with the will. Wow, there's a lot to this. I heard that term. I was like, what the heck is that? I have never heard that before. Special needs trust with minimal funding. Okay, I think this is something else. But anyway, yeah, it's something to do with your will. Not talking about will, but this is yeah. So yeah, that's very interesting. Okay, so GSF Care. Let's go down the rabbit hole here. What are their values? What do they stand for? We're going down the rabbit hole together. What is this? Gold standard? GSF care. Gold standards. Okay. Was this like a okay, here we go. I think this is it. Gold standards. How to implement gold standards for GSF primary care. Okay, there's a YouTube video here. We can watch this. I don't know if it's titles. I think, yeah, this is. I'm gonna change the sound again. Hang on. 2 seconds here. So we're just looking up the GSF care.
Provide an end-of-life care for generalist frontline teams. GSF has been used by most GP practices at bronze level since 2000, by thousands of care homes since 2004, and by hospitals, domiciliary care and others since 2008. The same GSF principles are used in care homes, hospitals, domiciliary care and many other settings, promoting better communications and joined-up cross-boundary working. GSF uses 3 key steps: identify, assess and plan. Over recent years, many practices have more than doubled the numbers on their register, increased the number offered advanced care planning discussions, and significantly reduced hospital admissions and deaths. This has enabled more to live well and die at home or in their care home. The GSF Frontrunners video has examples of the achievements of other GP practices, as well as the Frontrunners paper and BMJ article, and your practice team could do this too. Activity 3. Look at your quality improvement action plan and decide as a team which areas you want to focus on and what SMART goals you wish to achieve. For example, identification rates might only be a quarter of your population and you wish to increase it to a half. Or you're only identifying a few of the patients who have died, but you want to increase that proportion. We will use the QI action plan for each suggested area of improvement as we go through this video. Part C. Advanced Care Planning and Coordination. It is good practice to clarify patient choices through advanced care planning discussions. Such discussions help you direct care and services more appropriately to prevent crises. Both in the UK and internationally, it is recommended that everyone should be offered the opportunity to discuss their wishes and preferences regarding their care to help them live well until they die and ensure care in the final stages is tailored to their needs. So advanced care planning discussions are about living as well as about dying, how you live as well as how you die. Once you have achieved this, you are halfway to the GSF Gold Award. Several practices have achieved GSF Gold accreditation. Their results are written up in the BMJ, GSF Frontrunners and other articles. They are recognised by RCGP, receiving the GSF Royal College of GP's Quality Hallmark Award. Just contact us directly or see the GSF website on www.goldstandardsframework.org.uk.
Okay, I'm back. Very interesting. Why? That is a very good question, spiritual Mamzer. Why can't Brittany make her own self decisions? Well, she's under. I'm going to link here. She's under this program, and I just showed the video of the GSF. This is the video I just showed you was the program that helps the organization that helps bring out carry out this program, this conservatorship. Very interesting article. So I'll post it in the chat here. You guys can read that. Hopefully it goes through. I'll put it in the link description too, and we'll do that. So yeah, that's very interesting. I wonder, like, you apply this into like a bigger, larger scale thing, and I wonder if that's how the elites actually think about us, and that's their mindset, is that we don't know how to rule our lives. We're too wild. We're too emotional, and we need to have a program and set. I'm just thinking like the Great Reset and the and all the lockdowns and all that. That's basically like psychological operations where they will tell you a lie over and over again until it's fact. And it is like it'll break you. Like, even if you know something is so blatantly false, if they repeat it over and over again, and you have social pressure and you keep watching the news and all that stuff, it'll get you, even if you have like an objective and discernible mind. It's very subversive in that way. And I wonder how many people feel hostage, like Britney Spears, and how they interact with the world, because there's this ever changing arbitrary laws, and no one knows how they're enforced or what they're enforced. And anybody who really tries to truly rebel against this through principled manner, well, you're going to get a visit by the state, you're going to get threatened, you're going to get detained, and you're going to get arrested. This is like a big mass, like, population calling. I see it, and I think they're just beginning. And we'll all be Britney Spears. We'll all be in the gulag and psychologically tortured in some way or fashion, and our own versions, I guess. Some people will resist it, and but I wonder how they've just pulled that off. It's so amazing, I just never heard that term before, and I just saw that. I was like, oh, that's very interesting. But yeah, I just thought I'd just share that with you guys. Now, another thing I would like to get into is also political movements. So this is less of a deeper topic, but it's kind of like, relevant, practical. People who are in the movements in the right and the left, and how you can tell between somebody who is for real and someone who is just very opportunistic and kind of sociopathic. in their intentions and not genuine in their goals. And usually, if you're educated enough, you can usually spot it yourself right away. And it's very kind of, you can kind of tell they're like when you're arguing with somebody and they turn into character attacks, and then they keep peppering you with crappy arguments and then character attacks again, and it's just like, well, why aren't you like having the self-awareness to like adjust your argument? And then they'll keep trying to, and that, that's when you're like, you know we all yeah, you know what, yeah, it's kind of a weird psychological manipulation. But the courts actually have found Travis, well, the leader of the CMP, mentally well stable, so he's good in the legal books. That's all right, man. I mean, like, being mentally ill nowadays is really arbitrary and subjective at this point. It's kind of like, well, if you're mentally ill, it's just like you get past the victimhood and you start saying, well, why are these people peppering me with these lies that are just driving me insane? It's like, oh, they have an agenda. They're just basically trying to break me to a point where they make you feel like resistance is futile and you'll just submit towards their insanity, right? And some people will go to jail for standing up to it and not bowing down to it, and other people will just conform and just kind of stay as quiet as possible, but they're eventually going to get you too. I don't know how they're going to get a whole population, but basically that you'll own nothing and be happy crowd will make sure that you have your bank account will be shut off for disagreeing with any of their platform. It's not even about democracy anymore, or you know rule of law. It's just about sheer power and how is she though really, like, I'm gonna say, because if you read this right, like, when you make the claim that Britney is crazy, I mean, yeah, she's been crazy for the past decade or so that we've known her, but she's actually been under this conservatorship since she was 27, and now she's 40. And so now she's saying to the judge that the videos that she was making that said, "Oh, my life is happy" and all this stuff, that was actually not a genuine statement, and she was doing it under duress. So when you're speaking, I guess when you're under duress, like, anybody can seem crazy to you. Like, you're under duress, like you have a gun to your head and you start to like sweat. Like, oh, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with you, man? Like, what's going on? You know, so to claim somebody who is mentally insane when they're under duress is false, and it's just not. It doesn't speak to their. Actually, it actually speaks to their sanity, if anything. Because if you're not stressed in some way or fashion, there might be something wrong with you. You might be depressed. You might be suicidal. You might be crazy. I don't know. But if you do have some sort of response, that would actually prove more to be insanity in the court of law, of course. I'm not saying like the courts are completely corrupt or anything like that, or even black pill you people about the courts, but I'm just saying that the there is don't get fooled that the judge somehow has this godlike authority in delving the law, and that they're all objective, all knowing. I'm not saying they're not, but what I'm saying is they also, I mean, by definition, they're supposed to be outside of the public ire and not and have only look at the legalese in terms of a case, because the old saying is justice is blind. But obviously, that's in practice, that's not necessarily true. And I was making the case the other day that Sharia law is more efficient in dwelling swift justice than the secular judicial system. And I said that because you have to go through a lot of roundabout ways to try to attain justice, where Sharia law is compliant to God's law, and it's based upon Quranic principles that can be enforced, and it's also community enforced as well too. It's not, you push your problems off to a court. It's like, oh, you have this duress. Instead of dealing it with the community, it just goes to the centralized court who is beholden to you don't know who, right? So a lot of these courts, yes, they have all of the qualifications to be a judge, to know the judicial process, but how are they going to, are they going to actually look at hard evidence and legal procedures, or are they influenced by something else? Are they beholden to something more sinister, as opposed to being a keeper of a faith, recognizing God as supreme, like it does in the Canadian Constitution? I would say that's very questionable, and you probably need to look into more judges. I'm not saying all judges are like this, but I would be very skeptical and thinking that the judge is all. I know a judge can sentence you to 10 years in jail, and that has ruined somebody's life. That's only if you enter a plea bargain, of course. But most of the time, that's probably what most people get into trouble. They enter into a plea bargain, and then they get into trouble like that. But these judges are not necessarily, I would say, yeah, sure, they know a lot, but I wouldn't use it as a crux to. Now, when you start getting into this territory, obviously it's very it's uncharted territory when you start questioning the motives of lawyers and judges, and I guess in America, I can use an example. You have the two-tier justice system, where people who are from Black Lives Matter riot and loot, and then you have right wingers who storm the Capitol, and they're viewed as terrorists, even though there's minimal damage done. But these Black Lives Matters are basically kill people and destroy people's livelihoods. They get off scot-free. So you're kind of seeing like this weird kind of, I don't know, like unspoken, like it's turning into a despotic dictatorship, and despotism only leads to more anarchy unless it's somehow restored by people's government of enacting their laws and having a shared sense of values in the community as a foundation for their laws. as opposed to this like centralized structure that is beholden to some other nefarious interests that seek to control and undermine your livelihood and your sovereignty with these bureaucratic laws that are very very arbitrary. So basically, like if you wanted to get back what you say in your community, it won't be by the ballot box, but it'll be by taking over your communities, self-policing your communities, and enforcing your own laws in your communities. And hence, yes, it could be an ethno state, it could be a religious state. But if we were to separate ourselves realistically, you would have you need to claim self-determination, and you need to take on the responsibility of enforcing laws and not be beholden, not give off responsibility to this despotic, unaccountable, central, bureaucratic, corrupt entity. I know I said a lot of words there, but I think just basically we need to have shared values within a shared community. And what I see is you're not going to get it from a central structure. I think just like over time, like with the Soviet Union, it basically dissolved into different tribes. And so there can be like negotiations with the greater, but it would just be like it would be like not necessarily, I don't want to say no-go zones, but I would say like there is areas like in Canada that if you go into, you're definitely beholden to like native reservations. You're definitely beholden to another set of laws per se when it comes to self-governance. But yeah, that's basically what I have to say. A little bit long-winded. I apologize. She was evaluated. Okay. Does anyone else want to come on? I don't know if anyone wants to come on or not. I'll put the link in the chat here, and you can come on. I know it's late, but yeah. It's my cat here. It's very interesting. But yeah, just some of the thoughts I could leave with here. Do another prayer. I don't know. Well, let's do. Let's see. We can do another passage. Go from the Hadith. I don't know. Lots of wisdom in the Bible. So yeah, another business I had was I was on the Tehran pool stream last night or in the morning or something like that. I don't know. And he was mentioning that white people are not allowed to advocate for themselves, and that we deserve to be oppressed. We deserve to have our speech taken away from the public sphere. he took down that video, but his argument was really silly, and that it's just like, well, if white people advocate for themselves, all the non-white people, you'll just want all the non-white people to leave. And I'm like, who says that? Like, it was so ridiculous. It was just so over the top, kind of silly. Like, and I just said, no, we don't. Like, we'll deport people who are obviously doing illegal actions that are causing harm to the public. And then he was trying to make this bit about how, what was it? How being white is too, there's too many identities when you advocate for European ethnicity. I'm like, yeah, okay. And then I just basically said, like, as a Canadian nationalist ethno centric party, we advocate for the English, the French, and the First Nations, who've been here for multiple generations. I think that's a fair statement. And for some reason, he didn't take that argument. I don't know why. It's just like, if you start explaining yourself, that's another thing too. Is like, most people, when you explain that to them, like when you go out to the public and you start talking to people, you can explain something like that. It's a little bit more nuanced, and it's not like some, cut dry, really truncated narrative about, oh, if you're this, then you're that. If you advocate for this, then this will happen. Like, it's just so silly. It's just like, it was very disingenuous, and it was a very, I wish Aaron would probably like that. Yeah, Aaron, you would have loved the stream I did it with Teron last night. There was quite some action going on, I'll tell you that. He took it down. I don't know why. He was probably too embarrassed from the shellacking that he got from me. It made him look like a fool. I think he said at one point, like, how could you talk to me like this on my stream? I didn't use any swear words. I called him a clown. That was only at the very end. And then and that was pretty much it. But I wish I could go over it and kind of, there was some good clips there that I could probably take out for good propaganda purposes. But yeah, I don't know. That's another thing too, is you kind of have to notice these people are kind of opportunistic, and they're fake too. Fake people, man. Like, I was on his stream the other time, and I was basically, and I went on and on and on about my party's platform, and then there's people asking me about how I feel about an ethnocentric party that advocates for Europeans. And he was cool with that. And I was like, right on, like, that's cool. And so I went on the stream again, and then he was with Claire. Maybe that was the problem, he was with Claire, but I don't know about that. He was still acting weird even without Claire. Even when Claire left, it was weird. But yeah, it was like he was being very disingenuous, and then he didn't really have any other really constructive counter arguments to my claims, and he just started going into name calling. I kind of amped it up a little bit. I remember I did amp it up a little bit. It's like, how dare you tell me, my country's politics and what we and how we identify our ethnicity. But I don't even think he was just trying to make the point of, he was trying to make this like weird narrative, like white is like some sort of this social construct, and it's too complicated. So you might as well just race. He was also advocating for race mixing as well too. That was just kind of cringe. Like, I'm not like one of those like purity aspiring types that like, that goes out of my way and talks about, race mixing bad. If you have certain thoughts. You know, you're a race mixer, or you're a whatever, right? He just said it like blatant, plain as day. I'm like, oh, I wish it was still off, but yeah, I don't know what's wrong with that dude, man. Um, I I mean, people like that, they're a waste of time to talk to. I have a lot more important things to do. I prefer to do some activism to do, but justice, justice, justice. I like this. I like this. Justice, justice. You must pursue. Deuteronomy 16:18. Sure, I can read that. Let's see. I'll read that. I think Aaron is just a consumer of my content. That's fine. I learned how to talk to myself and have a stream. I still have this idea that I need to make it a big show, and then I have to make it bigger than the last show. And I'm just like, that's not possible. I could just read some Deuteronomy and have a somewhat chill stream. Leviticus, Deuteronomy. Where is that? But anyway, while I'm looking for that, how about those vaccines, eh? Yeah. I have actually known somebody who actually died from the vaccine. It was actually one of my teachers. I'm not going to say who, but it was quite close, you know. Not quite close, but you know, a community member, you know. It was close enough, but yeah, I've heard of people in Israel. I don't know if it's true or not, but I heard there's places in Israel that, you know, basically fired people for not taking the vaccine, and then all the people who took the vaccine, they got sick, and now all of these workers are coming in. Now these employers are calling all these workers that they fired that didn't get the vaccine to call them to come back to work. And also, too, I don't know if you've heard, but airline pilots are getting are dropping like flies in the UK, Canada, and United States. I guess that's something to do because you're with you're on air for a long period of time, and that's part of spike protein. It brings about blood clots, and it could cause like heart attacks, brain aneurysms, liver failures, shortness of breath. Well, basically, when something gets into your bloodstream, anything can go pretty much. It's not fun. I had something like that. It wasn't like, you know, but it was like a bacterial infection that went through the bloodstream. That wasn't fun. So, yeah, I am definitely not taking the vaccine. There's like that psychological. I bet you it's just like, yeah, they want to decrease the population, so they know it's going to do this. They're such psychopaths, man. And you know who brought these vaccines all to fruition? It was Donald J. Trump, ladies and gentlemen, with Operation Warp Speed. Yep, yeah, he's the man. I'll tell you, he is the man of the day for that. I don't know, man. I think it's a really corrupt system. Holy, we got a visitor here. Hello, sir. How are you?
I'm fine.
That's cool. That's cool. Yeah, I'm just having a stream here. We were talking about Britney Spears, and we were going through the definition of conservatorship, and I have never heard that before. So I looked it up, and basically, from what I understand, anybody can really fall under it if if somebody feels like they're getting exploited. So if you make like a bad decision in your life, you know, somebody like your parents or your uncle or aunt or something like that can put you in this program and basically dictate everything in your life.
I
What are
don't
your
know.
thoughts on that, sir? Have you heard of this before?
No, I mean I know some people who have those type of relationships. I think so. I don't know what it's called because I'm gonna give an example. I know this guy. He
Mm-hmm.
he he takes care of this other guy, right? And then
Yeah.
they're not even relatives or nothing like that. But he gets, but like the money that the guy is on like benefits, and then they give it to the other guy. They give him his benefits, but the other guy takes care of him. Like the other guy, he rents to the other guy, and then he has like this part-time job with this other guy because the other guy, the guy who who's taking care of the guy who's taking care of, he's not totally mentally okay. He's not always mentally okay. He's from the streets, and he's not totally mentally okay. He's on all these medications and all this stuff, and then so he has like so he has some relationship with him, and so I asked him what it was. He was like, "Yeah, kind of like a guardian, but I'm not. But it's like I have some type of guardianship over him, like some type of the state, like the state put me over as a fair because he can't really take care of himself. He's an adult, but he can't really take care of himself because he's mentally not all the way okay. So yeah. So I mean, yeah, if you're not mentally okay, these things happen. Just okay. I'm gonna give another example. I used to work with the people with developmental disabilities for a long time, and I would say we're basically conservatorship over those people.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, if you're
But
not,
like Britney Spears, she was under this program for a long time,
she might not be
and she
compassionate to take
was
care of herself. She might need help. Some people need help.
well. Well, the video was that she was under. She claims that she was under duress when she was making videos that said that she's happy, she's healthy, and she's and I'm sure there's like some really good, like, obviously there's a good intention, and obviously there's uh there's obviously people who actually do need this, but the way I understand it, and maybe I need more evidence, but I'm defending Britney Spears right now, and I'm defending her sanity in that she was under duress when she was making these videos that said that she was doing fine and she was doing okay under this program, and basically she's saying that this was used to basically exploit her, for her father to tell her, like, to go to these concerts and tell her what to wear, and basically control every aspect of her life, and get her to get her not to have children with this program. I forget what it's called, some sort of vasectomy or something like that, for women. And so she couldn't have children. She couldn't control her finances. She couldn't have a say on what concerts she does. And she couldn't even marry her boyfriend either. And so, from an outsider, I'm just I'm just defending Britney. Maybe there's more evidence that needs
I mean,
to be,
I don't know,
but
but like some people need conservatorship. I mean, unfortunately, if you're not prepared to see, look, it was their fault anyway. They put her out there too young. She was young because I remember Britney Spears when
well,
she just
that's what they do in Hollywood is they basically exploit young
she was,
children.
yeah, but then her dad should have been conserving her those days. They shouldn't have been put her out there like that. All this hit me, baby,
But,
one more time. All this time.
but
I
her
remember this.
parents put her in this situation, right?
I remember 99. I remember those years. I was in middle
Yeah,
school.
yeah,
I remember 99. I remember 99. I remember 98, 97. I was in middle school. I remember all those. And she wasn't that much older than me. She was like a couple years older than me. And they
yeah,
had her all over TV all over the world, all this other shit. So
yeah.
there was that sometimes I run, Sometimes I hide. I remember her. That was the first song she did. I remember that shit. That's when he said TRL. That's when he said TRL and Carson Daly and Fred Durst. I remember Carson Daly. Carson Daly. I remember all that
one
shit.
more time.
Yeah, no, even before that, the first one before he made one more time was Sometimes I Run. Sometimes I hide.
I remember that. I remember that. Like in grade 5. Yeah.
The sun's like all I really want is to hold you tight, treat you right, be with you day and night. Baby, all I need is time. Yeah, I remember that. That was the first joint she had. That's the first joint she had on TRL. On TRL. That's the first joint she had on TRL. I remember that shit. And then
wasn't she part of the Mickey Mouse Club too?
Oh, that's way before that. Yeah. But that's before she became a big star though.
Yeah.
I didn't really watch the Mickey Mouse Club. I didn't have cable back then.
Yeah,
I
don't remember that, but yeah,
I
know
don't
she
remember
was part
during
of
Mickey Mouse Club days. I didn't even have cable in those days. I didn't have cable till 2000 and till like 7th grade. When was that? Like that was like 90, like 97, 98. I didn't even have cable before that for a minute. So I wasn't watching Mickey Mouse Club, but to make a long story short though,
I love your singing.
Yeah. To make a long story short, yeah, they Hollywooded her. So I mean, that's kind of why you
Well,
need.
that's kind of how the elites, like the Hollywood elites,
It's how
they use
Hollywood
these
elite.
people.
Her mom and dad did that shit because her mom and dad was there. Her mom and dad didn't have to put her in Hollywood. Why her mom and dad could? I mean, you can't say the Hollywood elite. And nobody tell them then to put their daughter and all that stuff. Then nobody tell them to do all that.
Yeah.
You know what
Well,
I'm
it was obviously through fame and fortune and
One about fame and fortune, nothing about that. Or why you put your daughter through all that stuff? Why don't you make your daughter just do little girl stuff? You ain't got to make her daughter be all out there in public singing all day. Don't even raise her till she just has the emotional health to live. You know what I'm saying? Then she married that guy. What was that guy? What was that guy? The Kevin Featherline. Then she married Kevin Featherline.
yeah, Kevin Federer. Yeah, look.
Featherline. No,
Yeah.
shit. I remember Kevin Featherline. And one, I remember the game was making rap songs like, and one Kevin Featherline. Yeah, I remember Kevin Featherline. I remember
Was
all
it
them.
Pamela Anderson? She was married to Tommy Lee, wasn't for like a little bit, and then they like divorced right away or something like that.
No,
Remember
she
Pamela
married
Anderson?
but then they had some supposedly had some domestic incidents. I don't really know what really happened. Supposedly they had some domestic incidents.
Yeah.
But because I can remember they made those they were making those porn videos, or they were making them like their homemade
Oh yes. Yeah. Homemade.
came out when they was on a boat. Hey,
Yeah.
She Canadian. Pamela Anderson, she Canadian.
Yeah, she is actually. Yeah.
She from BC, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, she from
And then
BC.
also another like blonde. I'm just thinking about blonde women right now. Like Sharon Osbourne. No. Shannon Tweed is married to Gene Simmons. Shannon
I
Tweed
don't
is.
know who Tweed is. I don't even know who
Yeah, well, she's married to Gene Simmons, I believe. Yes, I hope.
Gene Simmons from Kiss, right?
Yes, and like she's like from like my neck of the woods in Canada. Like she's not from the coast or Toronto or something like that, but like from like the Midwest of Canada, I guess you could say. But another thing, like, have you heard of this like conspiracy theory from Q that like Hollywood like runs like the politicians are in bed with all the pedophiles in Hollywood, and that there is heavy child trafficking that goes on around the border and like in Mexico and all that.
I don't know. They've been said that. They said that this shit goes out around the world. They go down to Haiti too. They got some ring in Haiti. And they're not only child trafficking with women, they also got child trafficking with men, and they supposedly get some like special like secret soldiers that nobody knows about. They don't pick up since they were kids, and they don't train them and all this other crazy shit. I heard a bunch of
Hmm.
crazy, a lot of different conspiracy theories that I mean, yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, are these things possible? Hey, I think they're more likely sort of true than not. If I truth be told, I think they're more likely true than not.
Yeah.
I can't prove it to you. I can't prove it to you. I'm not gonna act like I really know because a lot of people act like they really, really know, but I'm not gonna act like I really, really know. But
Yeah.
hey, a lot of these things, I, I, I tend to believe some of these things are true. I think there might be some secret programs cause I think a lot of things, like for example, especially after 9/11, because I know 9/11 was an inside job. I'll tell you that for a fact. 9/11 was an inside job.
Now, what would you say that happened with 9/11? Was that like, uh, would you say that it was like a controlled demolition,
Yes,
or
yes,
it was like
absolutely.
some sort of like
I believe it was a
vibratory like technology?
no, I believe it was a controlled demolition. They already had the bombs in it. I think they had
Hmm.
a plane. See right now they have the see right now we talking about drones. I think
Yeah.
even then, I think even then they had the technology to have unmanned flight. They had unmanned flight technology. All they had to do was put the technology for unmanned flight on one of those jumbo jets, right? All you do is put the technology for unmanned flights. You
Hmm.
you put in the air. You get everybody who's supposed to be there to jump off or whatever, or parachute out. You know what I'm trying to
Hmm.
say, or even take off from unmanned. I don't know. I don't know how far unmanned technology has gotten, but I
Yeah.
mean, they could easily have equipped those planes with unmanned flight technology and have those planes run into the buildings for dramatic effect, but really have already put the devices to blow to for the demolition inside the building, and they made the planes hit the building, so everybody would see, oh shit, the plane hit the building, but then the main thing that but what really brought the building down was the demolition devices that were already inside the building, and then they just use the planes as dramatic effect. That's what
Yeah.
I think.
Well, another thing too is, it was the not only just the two buildings, but it was also Building 7 that was also blown up as
The
well.
building was blown up, and then
Yeah,
and then
and
and I don't live near. I'm from DC. I live near the Pentagon. I
yeah,
know the plane hit no damn Pentagon. Ain't no plane hit no damn
how
Pentagon.
how does a plane hit a Pentagon in that angle? Like
It
it just
doesn't.
basically
It
said that
doesn't.
the plane was on it, like it was gliding, and then it just hit it, and then somehow it like blew up like half the Pentagon. Like I don't know like how that works.
It
I mean, if
doesn't
a plane
work.
crashes, yeah,
It
there's gonna be
doesn't work.
damage, but it's not gonna blow up half the Pentagon.
It doesn't work. It doesn't
Yeah,
work. It's a bomb. That was a cruise missile. They put some type of cruise missile or something like that. That was a cruise
yeah,
missile hit that part. So you already
yeah.
know it's fake. All that's fake, and all that fake Shanksville, Pennsylvania, the one that they supposedly made that fake ass movie about the passengers fought the people and then they fell out in Shanksville to try to make them seem like some heroes. All the shit ain't no shit happened. That was a whole fake. That was a whole fake shit. Whole fake shit. The whole shit fake. The whole joint fake. So it's like, so after September 11 happened, I mean, I know anything's possible now. If they could do September 11 and still people don't believe that, and still people think that's really, if still people are still buying the government story about that, I mean, man, they could be doing anything. But people still buy in September 11th was not an inside job. Like, no, that's the most clearest inside job ever. But people still buying it because you know why? Because people don't want to believe and not say because they're looking at it like this. If the government could do that, if that could happen from inside, I'm not saying everybody in the government's behind the shit. I'm just saying there's an
Yeah.
inside hand in the government.
Yeah.
If there's an inside hand in the government that can pull that off, you're not really safe. So that's what people don't want to believe it. People don't want to believe because they want to have a false sense of security. You understand? So if you
Hmm.
want to, people want to have a false sense of security, they're gonna believe that is impossible for what we saying to happen because they just don't want to believe that they could be inside because because their security come from the government and they gotta understand the only security you're ever gonna get is from the God who made you. You understand? The
Hmm.
government can't scare you like that. You might think they can, but they really can't. I mean, their job is to try, but that's all they could do is try. And you don't know what hands can get involved into the state. You don't know what agendas, what hands, what organizations, what type of things that are have embedded themselves in the entire apparatus to the point they can really do something like that. That's how powerful the forces that be that have embedded themselves in the state apparatus of United States and probably many other states have become.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I always wonder like how these people. I guess it is like a sense of security, but
Hey,
like at what point, at what point do they just say no
hey,
anymore? Like just say no. You know what I
hey,
mean? And just like what's the threshold? I guess that's the unknown thing.
it's not
Like
going to be.
how much they can get away with. You know what I mean?
They can get away with a bunch of stuff. See, because they're good with gauging people. They're good with gauging people. They gauge it.
Mm-hmm.
So they gauge how much they can get away before they do it. Like they test the water. So they don't do stuff willy nilly. They test the water, how much they can come up with, and then they propagandize you before they even do something. They propagandize you all the way. Like they set up this. They set up the straw man or something a lot of way before they actually used them for the September 11th attack. You understand? They already set up, so they gauge things. They set up strongman. They set up everything. They're not going to just do. They're not going to do what they haven't engaged they could do already. If they have engaged they could do it already. They're not going to do it. Hey, did you kick? Did you block spiritual mamzer?
No, I didn't.
Okay, I just want to make sure because he never commented in a while. Because if he hears me, he's probably gonna comment. So I don't know where. So I thought he would. I thought he would say something if I come on. That's why, because I know you always block him. Because I know he said something about Travis Patron. He said Travis Patron needs to have conservatorship. So I thought since he said that, you probably.
No, I didn't block him over that. I was talking about conservatorship, and then he just because Travis Patron is he has a legal sound mind. He's a sound mind according to Her Majesty. So that's a plus, I guess you could say.
Her Majesty said that. Her Majesty said that. Her Majesty's Her Majesty's men, the Queen's men said that.
You know what I say that it's just like that's not really true. Well, I don't know. And it's kind of a weird thing. Like in a Commonwealth country, it's like you could say the crown. I usually say the crown, or the crown denied me justice, so the crown did this, so the crown did that. Right? I have a case before the crown. But the crown it's not like at Buckingham Palace. It's like this city, and it's like the Vatican, like in Italy. It's like this little place where Her Majesty needs permission to go in. And
I don't know about that. I don't know about that. I don't know about that.
Yeah.
I know the crown. I know it's Her Majesty. Her Majesty is the crown. Her Majesty is the crown. She's the dignified part of the Constitution. So you're right to say Her Majesty. All I said when I say Her Majesty, I'm talking about the same thing you're talking about. I'm talking about the government. The government is Her Majesty. It's Her Majesty's government.
In some ways, like in some bills, like you literally have to on bills, you every bill that's passed through Parliament has to have royal assent to it.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So
I wouldn't say that Her Majesty gave. Oh, I could word it this way: Her Majesty didn't give royal assent to Travis Patron being mentally well, but he has. Well, maybe he did. It is public. Okay, yeah. Her Majesty. Yeah, I could say that. Yeah, I was just. I don't know. I had this ideas in my head. I was trying to make sure that I was maybe describing it correctly. But yeah, it's public consent law. It is.
Like I'm gonna give you an example. You need conservatorship, John Vance.
What is your case? Okay, so that itself, that's why I'm defending Britney Spears, because what's mentally stable nowadays is very arbitrary and very loose, and it could just be you could just use that to somebody who you disagree with, and say, because I think your ideas are crazy, I'm going to put you on a conservatorship, and you basically you don't have any finances, or you basically you're going to have the state control your life, or some sort of guardianship control your every actions of your life, as it seems very arbitrary, right? Even if you commit crimes, right? It's like, well, even if you're accused of committing crimes, right? Not found guilty, but accused. I think that's the main difference here, because I think a lot of our justice system nowadays is predicated upon guilty, is proven guilty before innocent, right? You're proven guilty before you're innocent.
No, but I'm saying this. I proved you're innocent, and then you proved yourself guilty to me.
Well, no, now you're doing like double speak. So now you're engaging in double speak.
No, I'm not.
And trying to in a roundabout way to
You're
say I'm
innocent in my
guilty
mind.
out of your arbitrary ways because you disagree with some of my ideas.
I don't disagree with any of your ideas. I just disagree with your actions.
You disagree with the Magna Carta. You disagree with the application, and you think I'm crazy for it. So,
no, I don't
and
think
then it's just like that's why it's just like, oh, so now I need to be under this this jackboot of conservatorship.
No,
yes,
stop.
yeah. I mean, that's a really heavy accusation you made there.
That's not
it's
it.
not
That's
to be
not
made
it.
lightheartedly. And because that is part of your case, is like, because I believe in the Magna Carta is legally binding upon the crown, I must be crazy. So therefore I must be under this conservative. It's just like, you could use that for anybody. You can use that for political dissonance. You can use that, for, it's not like, it is. It's just like, like the state is for your safety, right? Like we're doing all of this for your safety, for your betterment of your own good, but really they're doing it to politically suppress you because you're a threat to the powers that be in some way or fashion, or you're a threat to how the status quo in a certain way. And so now it's just like, okay, yeah, we're gonna ramp this up now. We're gonna lessen the threshold on what's sane, what's not, and and we're going to basically make a new category of people who are political dissidents, and they believe in these certain things, and they're a danger to the public because we said so. They don't agree with our narrative. They don't agree with what we're doing. So we have the power to do it. We're gonna do it. I mean, like what's happening right now? Like with John McAfee. John McAfee, some people could say he's crazy too. But I view him as a very intelligent man, very knowledgeable. But, he mysteriously disappeared as well. So if they can't call you crazy, they can lock you up. And if you got some dirt on them, and all their other psychological tricks haven't worked, they'll eventually go for your head. I think that's kind of how the elite work. That's kind of how it works. And also too, on the video on Lawrence Southern, it also mentions the salami tactic. So basically, you'll have this group, like a right-wing group, and there'll be a faction of the right-wing group that's religious. Let's just say they're Christians, right? They're evangelical Christians. Let's just say that. So you can be conservative, you can be conservative, but there's this faction that you have to break off in order for you to be conservative. So the conservative movement would break off the Christian evangelicals. Just hypothetically, this is a hypothetical group. And then you would have and then you just have the conservative group. But the thing is, they don't stop. And so basically then it goes to a point where everybody is just all fractured and everyone's calling each other crazy because, they make you look bad or something like that. And and that's the thing too, is like a lot of people in the movement, they want to call each other crazy for trying new things, but we got to embrace like new things, man. We got to be a little bit more progressive instead of just really pigeonhole and like mainstream wisdom, I guess you could say, or what we've known. We need to try new things, man. And we need to be more, I hate to say this, tolerant. That's how the left wins, because they're tolerant towards their they're kind of, I guess, eccentric people, and they can get away with a lot of stuff, but the right just view to be viewed as like morally pure is a trait to aspire to. And so if anybody wrecks your image, if you view somebody that's wrecking your image, just tell them they're crazy. They need to go on conservatorship. They're practicing some crazy law or something like that. Get them out of here. Get them or the media will say some bad stuff and they'll associate it with us, and so you guys get out. It's so easy, right? It's so easy to ostracize me. But I want to build a community. And by the way, I didn't kick Palu. I don't know what happened to his. He had an internet connection or something like that. I don't know. But I want to build a community of tolerance of other ideas. As long as you're not being disingenuous, like there's some people are being disingenuous, but I want to build a community of people who have crazy ideas. Even if I disagree with it, I want them in my community. And we're really missing that. We need something like that. We need something like that in the right wing. We need people who have different viewpoints and who are willing to push the boundaries and really explore new frontiers of political ideas. And we're just not going to have it in our traditional system. It's just not going to work, right? We're not going to get what we want to accomplish, what we've been doing for the past century. It's not going to happen. Just counter signaling people all the time and telling them they're crazy. I reserve calling people crazy. Maybe I'll call them clowns if they're being disingenuous, and I'll call them out. But I mean, being disingenuous is a whole nother thing. But if whatever ideas that you have, you should be able to express them and, be free of character assassinations. That's a good rule. I like that. You should be free from character assassinations, from exploring new ideas. I like that. I like that. Yes, this is like what was it? This is the show. It's like the Late Late Show or something like that. Just like some weird stuff, It's like 3 a.m. and this guy's talking about Britney Spears and conservatorship and some Illuminati stuff, and yeah, I like that. I like that brand. I like it. I'll own it. I'll own it. I don't care, man. I don't care. I want every idea that is out here to come on this channel and promote it. As long as of course it's not directly harming people, like physically, like say I'm going to do this to this, like that's not the platform for that. But I want people to come on here and feel free from character assassination to promote their ideas, no matter how out there it is. Because we're missing that. We're missing that in the right. And I want to be that person. I want to be that person. I want to not necessarily be that person, but provide a platform for that. And I hope that one day we can have a right wing that is very robust and is not reactionary and is visionary, and they set the tone. Because right now the left sets the tone. You know, like whatever the left does, the right reacts. Left does, right reacts. Left does, right reacts. Left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. But like conservatives, people who strive for a wholesome society and wholesome beings, they need to set the tone. They need to be the trendsetters. We need to go on offense, basically, and stop reacting to everything the left does. God damn it. And if you have a new idea, come on here and articulate it. God damn it. That's what I want. That's what I want. We're missing that, man. We're missing that. You know, but anyway, so for the record, I didn't boot Payload. Payload, you can come on if you like, but I think I'm gonna wrap it up here. It's getting kind of late, but I think he has like a shift or something. But great stream, everybody. I hope it was insightful. Hope you learned something new today, something to chew on, and see you next time. Bye-bye.